Speed. Man's need for it is undeniable. He expresses it in the sky with thrusting jet aircraft, on the ground with screaming race cars, on water with thundering hydroplanes and magnificent sailboats. He uses power from explosive fuels, power from the wind, power from his own muscles, whatever it takes to attain the objective. That ability to go so fast that the wind literally splits before him. In these sports of raw speed, we see man's uncanny ability to become one with a machine. The art of using a tool to perfection. When it comes to a marriage of man and machine, nothing gets more intimate than Grand Prix motorcycle racing. The rider straddles his machine, joins himself to it. They become one in a graceful ballet. The bike provides the thrust. The rider's job is control. Three-time world champion Freddie Spencer revolutionized motorcycle racing by discovering a new riding style, his own secret of speed. At an age when others were still trying to master their tricycles, Freddie Spencer was already experiencing his first taste of motorcycle competition.
Dad would have to hold me on the starting line because my legs were too short to touch the ground. I would have to use my entire body weight to maneuver the bike around. And what I found is that as I got older and I wouldn't have to, as I physically grew up and became more adapted, being able to maneuver the machines just through strength in my arms, I found that helped me prepare for the corners, especially when I started road racing at 11. It helped me prepare for the corners and everything much more fluid, and to use my entire body weight to maneuver the machine around instead of just arm strength. Plus, when you use your entire body, your endurance is better. I think in the beginning, especially, it's very important that you don't get caught up in how, well, I could do this if I had this. I could be this much better if I had this piece of equipment, or if I had that guy's bike, or that guy's bike, or that guy's car, or that guy's anything. I don't think it's necessary to have the best equipment. In fact, in many ways, I think it's a hindrance. There's been many guys that I grew up racing against that they had really fast, let's say a 100cc machine that they raced on dirt tracking in the dirt track races. They'd go out and they'd win all summer, and they were going to be the big sensation. Then they would get on a larger machine and just fall on their face, where they were depending too much on the equipment and they didn't improve. I would finish second or third in the heat race, and my father would say, if we win tonight, it's going to be you. So in the main event, I just go out and figure out a way, or watch other guys, the older guys, and maybe pick up a few pointers and then apply it in my race. And that made me a thinking person's racer. And I think that's why that as I got older and started graduating to larger machines, more complicated machinery, I didn't have to have the best equipment because I'd already found out ways to go, to win. I felt I could win on anything. Starting so early was a benefit too, because I graduated up through the machinery quicker than most kids. And so I overcame kind of that fear of the speed. Most of my technique was developed that way, was just out of necessity through the early years, like when I was small, and thinking about ways to make it easier. My approach has always been very simple: to go out, prepare, and start the race and win the race as slow as possible. And I know a lot of people find that surprising, but to me, it's not the fact that I don't want to go fast, because, hey, I like speed, but it's just that you make less mistakes when you're not working as hard.
The dirt tracks. It was here that Freddie discovered his secret of motorcycle control. Without the size or physical strength necessary to muscle the machine, he instead used his brain. He figured out a method of transferring his body weight to maneuver the bike. This ability would lead to a unique Freddie style.
I think I learned more growing up on those type racetracks, the ones that were unpredictable, where you didn't know what was coming. It could change. I mean, racetrack, it would change from the heat race to the main event. It was like going to a different racetrack. The bike would be totally set up wrong, and it was the guy who could adapt the quickest, because the races were only 10 or 15 laps long, that would win. And I think that is what I've held over into the road racing more than anything, is taking those qualities, throttle control, knowing the limit of the machine, just through the feel of my own ability and what the machine is doing, and then taking it to the edge. I think that many people get in trouble on dirt machines because they don't change their weight positioning. Most of the time when you start applying throttle, you have to shift your weight. The machine wants to rise, wants to lift up. So that's where you use your body weight to either keep it down, force the bike back down to the apex of the corner. Then you start steering to help you. Of course, we use a skid shoe, and that is, there again, that's just an extension of your center of gravity, the center, your body center, to where while you're shifting. It's just a feeler to give you an idea of how far you leaned over and how far you can go, and that, that respect. You do not want to put that much weight on your foot as you're entering the corner. You don't want to get it torn off or anything.
Now, let's take a little ride with Freddie and see how it all comes together on the dirt.
Dirt riding is an exaggerated form of road racing. To me, I brought a lot of my dirt riding techniques to road racing. And what that means is that of weight distribution.
His first secret, instead of fighting the motorcycle, work with the machine. As you can see, Freddie's technique combines throttle control, body position, and weight transfer to steer the machine.
You do not want to remain stationary all the way through the corner, because as you can see here, I'm already starting to transfer my body weight to begin getting on the throttle to maximize my speed exiting the corner.
It was also here in the fiercely competitive world of dirt tracks that Freddie learned about another side of racing, the psychological games riders play to intimidate each other.
We used to race at a place in Benton, Arkansas, right outside Little Rock, and it was a quarter-mile bank dirt track oval. The old guys used to, I call them the old guys, they were 18 and 20. They would come down from Chicago. They'd have a race up there in Santa Fe, right outside Chicago, and drive down, and they called it cherry picking, where they would come to a money race like that, and it's easy pickings, they would think. They thought it was going to be an easy night, and went out and won the heat race and won the main event, and they came back the next week, and that's when they'd start talking. They'd start like coming over and looking at your bikes and basically trying to psych you out. They want to intimidate you. It's like muscle on the racetrack. They try to ride real close to you or cut you off, as we used to say, come across your racing line. I mean, we're talking $300 or $400 here, I'd get it through the next week, sometimes. I mean, sometimes, a lot of times that $300 would also buy us some new tires, So it was survival money. I mean, it could get pretty intense.